The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
And now, broadcasting live from MainEventMadness.com and brought to you by Spreaker, it's Main Event Madness. Our wrestling, your sports, simply madness. And now, here are your hosts, Al Merriman and John Curry. All right, guys, welcome to a brand new edition of Main Event Madness Radio. It is February 18th, 2015, and we are finally back here on Main Event Madness, almost a month without a full show. I am fired up, Al's fired up, although, of course, this wouldn't be Main Event Madness if we weren't having some sort of technical difficulties, you know. It's always something. Live radio, you gotta love it. We apologize for coming on here about 6 minutes late here, guys. But nonetheless, we are back. This is Main Event. For the card for Fastlane this Sunday on the WWE Network. And, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan and how we feel their feud is progressing going into the Fastlane event this Sunday. But first off, guys, want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to us. If you're new to the show, we're switching a little bit up this week. If you haven't listened to us before, all of our past episodes are available on Spreaker.com/show/Main Event Madness. Yes, I know it's a long title. Having some issues with our show website, MainEventMadness.com. Our shows are also archived on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Stitcher. Each one just search Main Event Madness, as well as on iTunes and YouTube. Same deal, just search Main Event Madness. So, yeah, you know, I'm excited to really kick off the road to WrestleMania. And I feel, honestly, with no disrespect to the Royal Rumble event, I almost wanted to say this past week. I mean, it shows you how long it's been since I've been on here. Last month, and, you know, with Fastlane almost in the rearview mirror, we could really start to build to WrestleMania. But, you know, Raw was a very interesting show. You know, the crowd, it wasn't like it was last week, where they started turning on Daniel Bryan a little bit. And, you know, before we get into Raw, I'm going to bring on here Wayne Daly of Wrestling-News.net, who's got a brand new microphone who's sounding crystal clear. Hello, sir.
What's up?
Oh, man, it's like Wayne's in high definition now or something. But
just as you're talking Fastlane, there's some, I can't call it breaking news, but it's good news for UK and Irish fans.
Must be nice, but go ahead.
WWE Fastlane was originally slated to be on Sky Box Office, but now WWE Fastlane on Sunday will be on Sky Sports 1 and in HD, as well as on Sky 1 and in HD at 1 a.m. Sunday night.
Now, for the equivalent of us, that's like Fastlane being on pay-per-view and then being put on HBO. I mean, is that a safe kinda?
Like if he had a sports channel, it's like putting him on a sports channel and
okay. So it's like
like if NBC owned a sport, if NBC had like a sports channel, it's like putting it on NBC and then putting it on NBC Sports. We say
they do.
So they're actually giving it to people. If people don't have a subscription to Sky Sports,
yeah, there really isn't that much on it. I mean, they got like Dan Patrick or something, but nonetheless, you lucky bastards! Like you guys always get pay-per-views. I mean, if I know we get a lot of people listening from Ireland and England, UK, and all that. Oops, sorry. But imagine being us now. I used to have to go to Buffalo Wild Wings because I was not paying the astronomical $55 a month. Or, well, it would work out that way because there was usually a pay-per-view a month. Or $120 a month, depending on what month it was, for the pay-per-views. And Wayne, Taj, and another friend of our show, J.L. Dwyer, would sit there and brag to us, oh yeah, our show's on Sky Sports 1. Like, go to hell, man.
Well, if that was the accent, it would sound more like Taj.
Listen, I tried here, dude, alright? But nonetheless, you guys suck. Actually, I shouldn't say you guys suck, because we damn near... Actually, we do get it for free this month. But...
Well, the new deal that Sky and WWE have, it means every show should be on pay-per-view, so this one's actually surprising.
That
means all 12 pay-per-view events should be on pay-per-view, but...
That ain't good for you guys.
For whatever reason, Fastlane's on free TV and Sky Sports.
You know, it might be because the pay-per-views on the WWE Network's free. So maybe to kind of... Although, you know, actually in thinking that wouldn't really make sense because it's not free on pay-per-view here, and I feel sorry for the poor bastards that are getting it on pay-per-view here. Although, I mean, it's kind of give and take. I mean, they get better video quality. I mean, well, there's that.
As I just said, it's a nice gesture from Sky to give to like UK fans, Irish fans.
What's that?
I said it's a nice gesture from Sky to give to UK and Irish fans.
You guys have had that nice gesture for the 10 years that I've known you. 1 second, folks. Perks of having technical difficulties, Al had to make a Skype account, which, if you want to go a little bit behind the scenes and pull the curtain back a little bit here, that's how we do our show. And, yeah, I don't know anything about oh, there it is. I never pay attention to what my username is on here because it's always my name. Apparently I have another username, but anyway, I mean, I don't know. We'll touch on Fastlane for a little bit if you're going to be around for a little while. Can you stick around for a bit?
I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but we can touch whatever we can. I'm leaving.
Okay, well, let's but as I've beaten into the ground, Fastlane's this Sunday, so let's backtrack a little bit to this past Monday's edition of Monday Night Raw. The show. How did you feel about it being a good go?
I can't see anything that's taking my attention at the moment.
I mean, I thought, I don't know, to me it kind of seemed like it was too little too late. A little bit.
To me, I think the way WWE presenting it, they're presenting it as if it's a throwaway pay-per-view, but we obviously know it's not going to be like that.
And
not a month away from WrestleMania.
If you're going to be around here in a little bit, I'm quite pissed off, actually, about the Fastlane card and about how that affects WrestleMania. So if you're going to be around in the next half hour, definitely want to touch on that. And yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me, the highlight for me, is that when is the last time that you said, or that you heard somebody say on a show, the most important thing was that I want to win the United States Championship? Like, I don't know if this is Triple H's influence or whatever it is, but I mean, it's just nice to see the attention to both the mid-card titles, as a matter of fact, not just the United States title, but the Intercontinental Championship as well, getting some much overdue attention from the program right now with Dean Ambrose and, Bad News Barrett. But how do you feel that the feud between John Cena and Rusev is going?
I just said Cena's bringing attention to the US title again. That's the one thing I actually want to see with titles that WWE have. Just don't make them props. Make them something that's worthwhile.
I'd say the best thing they could do would be to make the title belts kind of like almost like an Oscar. I mean, if they want to go the entertainment route, don't call it a trophy. Don't call it none of that. Make it like the Oscar. Like, every actor wants to win an Oscar. Just like every wrestler in the WWE should want to win a world title. Or any title for that matter. I mean, each title has its own individual prestige and everything else. And at this time...
Personally, I don't like... Huh? I don't like that some titles are actually props. Like, I know some people hate looking back to the 90s and the early 90s, but if you looked at like who was the champion before they were the WWE champion, at least the Intercontinental title and the US title actually meant something.
And yeah, I mean, it is nice to see, and whether or not that trend continues, because I mean, it's been well documented that that WWE has done nothing but bury, pretty much bury the mid-card champions until it comes time for them to get their little feud that they decide they want to have them drop the belt. And at this time, we are finally back together. Mr. Alfonso Merriman is back, I believe. No? Is that a little premature? Okay, that was worth a shot. I don't know. I just would love to see, and you know, that would kind of break the trend if John Cena does win the United States title. It would almost have to break the trend of the mid-card champions losing throwaway matches, right? I mean, because we're not going to see John Cena lose throwaway matches. At least I wouldn't think we would. I mean, he could lose for like the next 5 years straight and not lose anything. And I mean, to me, it's just refreshing to see Cena not involved in anything in the main event. You know, not them combining feuds like they tend to do. You know, them doing a 6-man tag match or something with John Cena, Daniel Bryan, and somebody else facing Rusev, someone in Roman Reigns or something. You know. And let's see. Am I right this time? Mr. Alfonso Merriman, the host of Main Event Madness, this very podcast that you people are listening to. Is he back?
Guys, I don't know if you can hear me at all.
We can hear you, sir. You are back. Back on Main Event Madness. Back where you belong. The Savior is back. I don't have to talk as much anymore.
Woo!
In no way is
All
that
right,
a bad thing.
I'm going to tell you guys this internet connection is really bad. So it's like I'm hearing you guys in and out, but yes, I'm back. Not better than ever, apparently, because this has been hell to try to get back online. How the hell are you, Wayne and Mr. John Curry?
I'm fan-friggity-tastic. I don't have to talk as much anymore.
That ain't
I'm
right.
loving that part of it. I mean, you get to come back and do your job. I didn't like your job. Your job was bad. Nobody liked me doing your job.
It's all right. I mean, it was a nice break, but I wish I could say it was deserved. But it's been a long couple of months here. My baby boy's 16 days old today. He's been whooping my ass, and I'm very excited. A lot of wrestling's happened since I've been gone. A lot of up downs. It's been a roller coaster ride. And it's been crazy. I know we got a lot of great topics. I don't know what you and Wayne have covered thus far. But let's get cracking. You might have to guide me into the show. So you have to talk a little bit more, John.
He mentioned there's a deal right now in the UK with WWE and Sky Sports that they get the pay-per-view this week for free. And then
again, of course, they get everything for free over there.
See, guys, I'm not the only one who used to bitch about this.
As I was saying to John, the new Sky deal with WWE was meant to be for all 12 pay-per-view events being on pay-per-view this year. But for some reason, Fastlane is on Sky 1 and Sky Sports 1 for free this Sunday.
We were talking about how Raw was as a go-home show and how we felt the feuds were progressing into Fastlane, and if we felt that they did enough work for the John Cena-Rusev feud.
Well, you know what? It was as solid as a go-home show of Monday Night Raw you can have, I felt, especially with all the things happening leading up to when Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble, and everyone's just kind of pissed off and going back and forth on that. Personally feel that it's been a great build. Rusev and John Cena, it's kind of weird, kind of strange, the fact that John Cena's finally stuck there at the mid-card section. It's kind of I'm not accepting it per se. I think it's just strange that he's not going to be in the main event. He's still fighting for a title now, Fastlane, but it's kind of weird. And I thought this match was going to happen at WrestleMania. I've always felt like this match between Royal Rumble, this pay-per-view between the Royal Rumble and Mania has always been a thorn in the writer's ass, trying to get everything put together, because it just seems like sometimes it throws off the entire pay-per-view of what you want to see at WrestleMania.
And we actually have a little debate coming up in a little bit, although it doesn't seem like it's going to be much of a debate. More of a conversation of whether or not WWE should have a February pay-per-view. But we'll get on that in a little bit. But let's
before we get going, man, I feel like we haven't done, and that's just because I've missed the first few minutes of the show. But have you guys hit the topic, the fact that this is 1 year in the making? This is our 1 year week. Is it this week, or is it
this Sunday? Fastlane is our 1 year anniversary.
1 year of dealing with John and Wayne, and oh my God, it's been fun though, for sure.
And hopefully next week we can actually have a show without technical difficulties. I think that would require a little bit of physical labor from me, trying to switch up.
I want to ask one thing.
Huh?
What have you got me for my anniversary?
50 Shades of Grey.
I'm sending you a Cuban sandwich.
A Cuban sandwich. Get making my sandwich, boy! But, among other things, do you know what today is, Wayne?
Don't do
Hump
it.
Day!
Get happy.
I thought you were going to say it was Ash Wednesday, but okay.
No. Well, it is Ash Wednesday. I guess, would you wish a happy Ash Wednesday? I don't really know, how that works. It does mean we're officially...
I'm so confused on what type of ashes they use.
I don't know. I do know it means we're officially in Lent, which means I am 40 days, 46 days, something like that, away from getting my Easter ham. So I'm happy about that. I didn't get my ham for Christmas. I had Thanksgiving dinner for Christmas, which means I get Christmas dinner for Easter. And it's all screwed up here in the Curry household. But
how many days are you away from WrestleMania?
34 after today.
You lucky son of a bitch.
So that gives you, what, 39 days before the biggest hangover of your life?
I don't know if I'll be drinking because we might have to drive.
No, I'm not saying drinking. Literally, it's like it'll be the biggest wrestling hangover of your life.
That will be the Tuesday.
After everything you guys are gonna be in awe. After everything you guys are about to witness.
That'll be the Tuesday after WrestleMania, because I already told Matt I'm at least sleeping in that Monday. I'm gonna be spent. Come that Tuesday, and it's a good thing that I hope you don't want to do a show that Tuesday. And I've talked to Evan Ginsberg, who's the associate producer of the movie The Wrestler. Guys, go check it out. About stepping in for me to co-host the show with you. But
that sounds good. And he also had a rerun of his documentary. Yep. What is it? Wrestling Then and Now.
Yes, sir.
I put that up on the site. I think you wanted to hit up an ad break now, or we're going to continue talking about Monday Night Raw. And this is me I finally got the script up here on my beautiful brand new computer. I know we're behind here.
I started up the trend because, like a year and a half ago, I got a brand new computer, and then it took these poor bastards like a year and a half, and then they finally needed it, almost at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that Wayne and I both needed a computer within like 10 days of each other.
Well, I mean, Wayne was posting like a madman there, so I think his computer just burnt out. The keyboards probably melted into the hard drive, and the motherboard was like sparking and shooting smoke out of it. Wayne's probably got carpal tunnel in his hand so bad he doesn't even realize he has it.
That's horrible.
But,
did you guys talk a little bit about Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan and how that ended on Monday Night Raw?
Before we started bullshit, I was going to try to segue to that, but at this time, guys, after the last 6 weeks of assuming the role of host of this show, I am passing the reins back to Mr. Merriman. By all means, sir, have at it.
All right. Oh, man, I'm a little bit nervous today. I'm not going to lie to you. Very excited about being back. I'm definitely out here on Main Event Madness with my boys here. All right, so Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. It's had a slow start, but after watching Monday Night Raw, they've definitely trying their best to put this match over. And if anything, the way that they kicked each other's asses towards the end of that show made me want to watch the match even more. I cannot sit here and be Nostradamus and what's the outcome of the match at Fastlane. I feel like it's up in the air, and there's so many possible outcomes of this match. Just because I don't feel Roman Reigns is ready, but he might be getting there. And if there's anyone that can probably do it right now, it is Daniel Bryan. If anything, if they're given the time, I think the match is going to be great. But I'm scared about the ending of the match. I'm not very and a clean pin or anything like that. Wayne, I would like to get your insight on this. I know you guys have been keeping a close eye on this Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan feud.
Well, I will put on my Nostradamus hat and tell you that it's going to be a dirty finish. It's going to end up with neither man winning the match, and both men on advance to WrestleMania to face Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Roman Reigns will?
Yes.
But both men will. Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. Something will happen that'll end up with both of them going towards WrestleMania. Everybody's going to expect Reigns or Daniel Bryan to win at WrestleMania. Yes. They'll beat down Lesnar. Lesnar will beat down them. And then to close WrestleMania, Mr. Money in the Bank will hold up the briefcase, come out, and that's what your ending's going to be.
Please?
Nostradamus predicts it.
Now, were you in your bowl of Cheerios again looking at this, sir? Nostradamus
if I was if you're a betting man, you think that's the way that it's going to go, and it's kind of it's hard for me to completely agree with Wayne because it's so difficult for me to accept the fact that we might have 2 years in a row a triple threat match for the championship.
Yeah, but it's not the first time.
The only thing that 2 years back to back.
Yeah, it's not the first time. I mean, not for the same championship, but I mean, 24. They had a triple threat for the WWE Championship, Cena, Orton, and Triple H. And then 25, they had a triple threat for the World Heavyweight title, Cena, Edge, and Big Show.
Yeah. That's a little bit different. The Undisputed Championship.
But, I mean, it's not like it's Bryan, Orton, Batista. Thank God it's not Batista. Again, I mean, it's two different...
Oh, definitely. You know what? I agree in that it's a totally different dynamic, John. I mean, it's not. It's a totally different match, a totally different setup to the match.
It's a totally different feel too, with Brock Lesnar having the almost inheriting the Undertaker's mystique a little bit from after he beat the Streak last year, and he's built up this persona that he's just going to murder anybody who steps in front of him. And, they got a lot of work to do. If it is only a one-on-one match between Bryan and or Reigns, they got a lot of work to do between Monday night and WrestleMania. I mean, and Matt's going to probably serenade me if he's listening to the show right now because he is on the Reigns bandwagon. Matter of fact, he's probably the conductor. But to me, they have a lot to do to convince people that Roman Reigns could be the one to beat the one who is the one in 21-1.
I mean, selling the actual match at WrestleMania, I could care less who's in it because Paul Heyman is the one selling the match. So that match is going to be sold. Whoever's a part of that match is going to be sold to the crowd. I think he does that much of a good job. I feel if the WWE and Vince McMahon with his new Muscle Fitness magazine, which he scared me at the age of 69, looking like a beast, he should be the world champion. Jesus Christ,
he looks fantastic. Although at the same time, it kind of looks like his head was superimposed on a body.
No, it was a combination of us.
That's definitely Vince.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of being at the age of 69, he's a billionaire, tan, and Photoshop that created that Muscle Fitness magazine cover.
That's definitely
let's call it right now, guys.
Oh, yeah, I think it is. I agree. I think it's just the tanning and all that. He looks, that's crazy.
All right, guys,
how well he looks at that age.
Does Vince pass a wellness test if they give him one?
Oh, yeah, they're on that organic steroids now, bro. It's undetectable. They're on that kale.
Then we go on WWE.com next week. Breaking news: WWE suspends CEO Vince McMahon for 30 days for his first violation of the wellness policy.
I mean, going back to Vince McMahon, if he really, he's in love with Roman Reigns and management's really putting that rocket up his ass. The way to make this a very impactful WrestleMania is straight up Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns defeating Brock Lesnar convincingly. That way you could create that superstar. I think he'll become a heel and a full-fledged heel, and you would have to build him kind of like Brock Lesnar in a sense. But if you want to do that, want to create that star, Roman Reigns is... And that's what they want to do. And I keep on saying they, because I feel that he's not ready for this. And I don't even think he ever will be. And that's my take. So, but management may feel differently, and if that's the case, a one-on-one match versus Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns winning convincingly will get the job done and create heat. Even if the WWE Universe doesn't want to accept it, he's going to get booed out of the arena, and it's going to sell tickets, and it's going to create the buzz, just like it did when Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble. They had the most subscribers that week alone on the WWE Network, and they crashed websites. I mean, bad publicity is good, so it is what it is.
The biggest thing for me is if you've seen the progression of Roman Reigns' character, which is ironic considering what we're saying, but it almost seems like they are progressing him into being a heel. I mean, now do you guys think it's just Reigns being a heel in his program with Daniel Bryan, or are they like pulling the trigger on him being a heel, kind of circa Batista last year?
Well, you know what I think is they're kind of saying, look, we understand you're not great on the microphone. We're forcing these lines in you, and it's not coming across well. Maybe somebody's saying, okay, maybe you should try to be yourself a little bit more, and maybe we're seeing a little bit more of Roman Reigns and what he feels comfortable doing.
They just need to stop giving him these fairy tale freaking promos. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like that's the biggest thing that they need to do. Just let the guy talk. He's related to The Rock. I'm sure if he can be on his own and he's unhandcuffed and everything, I mean, I'd like to think he'd have a little bit more charisma and a little bit more energy than talking about Jack and the Beanstalk or any of those other fairy tale freaking promos that he had.
And I mean, I think most of us agree, especially online and internet wrestling community, that it's as good. We're not stupid. I mean, a lot of us have been seeing this wrestling product for years, and we just see what he's doing and saying it just doesn't add up. Main eventer at this time, he's somebody that can benefit from a Paul Heyman. I could see a Roman Reigns defeat Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman essentially saying, all right, I'm going to go with Roman Reigns now. And you could have another crazy run with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns in a sense. This is me saying that Roman Reigns, I think in order to be successful, needs a talker next to him. And, you know, Paul Heyman has been so crucial to the career of Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns, I think, needs that now. He needs that mouthpiece to help it. Now, in the same breath, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns are pulling out all the stops to sell this pay-per-view at Fastlane. And I can't say anything but say I'm impressed. And I want to see what they do in the ring. I'm tired of all this back and forth. Sometimes you just want to see two guys wrestle in a match, and this is one of those times on the build. I want to see Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. I could put the mute button on what they're saying at this point.
I mean, the thing for me is you can finally shut these people up who hate Roman Reigns. Al, you don't hate Roman Reigns. You hate what they're doing with Roman Reigns. I mean, that's the bottom line with it.
No, it's a combination. Roman Reigns is a talented wrestler. He's lacking something. That's all. I mean, I'm not saying he's not a superstar. I mean, they need to tweak a couple things, and he could be elevated. I don't know if he has the ability to be great on the microphone.
Al, are you still with me?
All right, so John, I'm back here. This was going in and out there. Can you hear me now, folks?
I can hear you. I was just saying, I think Daniel Bryan could, Roman Reigns it's kind of ironic that, that Reigns and Bryan are in a match, and Reigns is now where Bryan was. Bryan wasn't as good on the mic or when he started being in the main event as he is now. And I think he
But the difference between
difference
between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, though, Daniel Bryan showed potential on the microphone. I haven't seen that same potential in Roman Reigns, to be quite honest with you.
He has it. He has it. I mean, I remember his promo he cut on Seth Rollins, like the suck up, sell out, suffered succotash thing. Like, to me, like, you gotta think how hard that is of a promo in and of itself to get those words without stumbling on them. So, I mean, if he can get a tongue twister like that out of the way, I mean, he could be all right. But they just need to stop giving him these fairy tale promos, and Vince just needs to get out of his own way. I mean, that's the biggest.
I agree 100%. I mean, we'll see what happens, And it's fun. I mean, it is frustrating. It's got to be frustrated for a guy like Roman Reigns.
By in one regard, by Vince McMahon. I mean, if you look at it a little bit, it ultimately kind of is. Like, Vince has this vision of what he thinks that Reigns should be saying, Reigns should be doing, and clearly it's not working. Either that or it's working, but it's not working for the mass amount of fans. And I don't know. Like I said, they're going to have a lot of work they have to do between now and WrestleMania. But at this time, guys, they're going to take a little bit of a commercial break here. When we get back, we got the biggest news of the week, arguably, in that Samoa Joe is gone from TNA. We're going to talk about that. And then at the top of the hour, we've got Matt Breeze coming back here, analyst here on Main Event Madness. We're going to be talking spring training, MLB early season predictions. It's coming up here, Main Event Madness. We are live, Spreaker.com/main event, or /show/main event madness, wrestling-news.net, wrestlingnewsreport.com. Of course, after the show is off the air, you guys can find it Spreaker, you can find it on Spreaker, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio. It's all over the place, guys. You guys are going to love it. I'm rambling. We're going to get to a commercial break here, guys, and when we get back, a bunch more topics to come. So you're cruising around the internet looking for some entertainment. What if I told you there's a hard-hitting, fresh, and opinionated podcast out there covering everything from WWE and TNA to the NFL, the NBA, and MLB? Well, that's reality. Main Event Madness is here. Don't miss us every week on MainEventMadness.com as well as on TuneIn Radio and Stitcher.com. Main Event Madness, our wrestling, your sports, simply madness. From the associate producer of The Wrestler, Evan Ginsberg, comes Evan Ginsberg's Legends TV, co-hosted by Steve Ledward, featuring legends in sports, pro wrestling, and the arts. Lanny the Genius Poffo, Nicole Bass, Oscar from Men on a Mission, and million-selling music hitmakers like Martha Wash of the Weather Girls and Carol Douglas of Doctor's Orders fame appear regularly, as well as the greatest live indie musicians performing live in studio. Saturdays, 11 a.m. at legendstvnyc.com and madhousetv.com, archived 24/7. You missed the birth of your mother and father, don't you dare miss Evan Ginsberg's Legends TV. Looking for more than your average wrestling website? Looking for the fastest growing wrestling news site on the internet today? With quality news, results, and more. Wrestling News Report has everything you'd want in a wrestling website. Al Merriman has you covered with the latest and biggest stories of the day from all around the world of pro wrestling. Check them out today, WrestlingNewsReport.com. Hey you. Yeah, you. Looking for quality wrestling news with an international flair? Looking for results and news from around the world? Look no further than Wrestling-News.net. Wayne Daly and his crew have you covered from top to bottom, from WWE to TNA to the top independent companies from around the world. Check them out, Wrestling-News.net. Need a break? How about a rope break? Wrestling's Rope Break, that is. Don't miss every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's Wrestling's Rope Break. Joel O'Brien and Aaron Ramadanov give you a fresh and passionate insight on the latest happenings and news from the world of pro wrestling. It's Wrestling's Rope Break, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, maineventmadness.com and Spreaker.com. Presented by Main Event Madness. Alright, guys, we're back here. It's Main Event Madness. We are live February 18, 2015, 4 days away from the WWE Fastlane event. And, guys, I mean, it was kind of a bombshell yesterday. The biggest news, I mean, to come out of TNA since their TV contract, at least I think, and it's that Samoa Joe is gone from TNA. Al and Wayne, you guys are reporters. Do you guys have any other insight or any other opinions on what may have happened?
Just a constant not willing to pay their veterans. I don't understand it. They should. I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. Why they cannot keep their guys like AJ Styles, Bully Ray's gone. I mean, all these guys that have meant so much to their locker room, they haven't been able to just keep them happy. And if one of your guys like Samoa Joe says, "Hey, I want to work a little bit of the indie market," well, you're running out of people to use. You're running out of your main names, and to let him walk out the door, they should have bent over backwards, especially if reports came out that they were willing to spend so much money on a guy like Alberto Del Rio, which was, I believe, in the $4K for the year, on limited dates, and he could have. It's just, I don't understand it. Wayne, what's on your end?
I'm like you, I just don't understand.
I'm not even sure if Wayne can hear me.
Like, why
Wayne, Al was saying that there could be three other names.
Hello.
We are back, I think.
I sure hope so.
But what Al was saying, and I apologize, guys. We're gonna try to fix something here after the
So wait a minute. Am I like the Black Widow? I come here and everything goes to shit. Is that what happens after 6 weeks? I come and all the audio goes to crap. Am I bringing some bad luck or something?
Well, whatever's happened, I'm actually hearing you much clearer now on you.
Everything sounds very great. I hear all your voices. It's very nice.
Okay, so to try to recap a little bit here, what Al was saying was that it was BS, that Alberto Del Rio was offered $400K for the year on as many dates as he wanted to work, and that there could be three other names possibly leaving TNA, and I was asking Wayne who he thought could be those other three.
To me, I'd say it'd have to be something that's coming towards the end of their deal, because the company signed a lot, and I mean a lot of people to new deals that you've seen in the last couple of weeks, months.
Unfortunately, not Jeff Hardy, because he re-signed a contract.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, such and such a person is going to leave TNA, such and such a person is going to leave TNA.
Well,
anyone that's coming to their end of the contracts, just keep an eye on that, and that's what I'd say.
That's the fun of doing a podcast, buddy.
I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, the other guys might be like did Bobby Roode resign or James Storm?
I don't believe so.
James Storm did.
All right, I'm not sure about Bobby Roode. Velvet Sky, I'm not sure she's still with them, but I think she might. She's what?
She's gone from TNA.
She's gone. All right, so I knew I heard rumblings about that. Let's not sit here and try to play like wrestling god. I don't know who is on the shelf right now, if anybody. What it is right now, which is ridiculous, is that Samoa Joe is gone, and hopefully, you know what? If he's going to be a success, he's going to make money. He'll be the next AJ Styles. If he wants to go the WWE route, he might have that opportunity. He might be able to make that happen. Samoa Joe's one of those guys I could see him IWGP. Independent, wrestling and do a lot of great things in that aspect. Go ahead, Wayne. I'm sorry to cut you off.
I said, as I sent to John off air, like this is actually like about 10 minutes before the show. I said, wouldn't it be funny if Samoa Joe debuted at NXT tonight with our taping tonight? I said, and literally, no WWE, he'd be given the name of something like Fijian Fred or something like that.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I started putting it on Twitter. I mean, man, imagine the possibilities. The problem is that WWE would probably screw this up. But just imagine, you have Kevin Owens versus Joe. You have, all these possibilities of great matches. Bray Wyatt versus Samoa Joe, I would love to see. Even Daniel Bryan versus Joe. There's so many great possibilities. and there's a plethora of people I would love to see Joe in the ring with, and he has that unique style that I think the WWE universe hasn't had the ability to see him, and it will be great. But if he doesn't make it there, and I personally think he should probably stick to New Japan and stick to the indie market and make his money that way, because he's going to probably be a happier person doing it that way. Just kind of like AJ Styles. I just think that it's a big blow to the company. Samoa Joe is in a big storyline right now. The Beatdown Clan, probably one of the worst names to a group. I thought Main Event Mafia was bad.
Main Event Mafia was awesome, dude. What
it's a good. Well, we are MEM just like them, I think, right? So we have a little bit of a connection to them. But I'm just saying that Beatdown Clan, the BDC, I'm trying to wrap my finger around that, and it's kind of difficult. But yeah, he is a part of a major storyline. It's going to be interesting how they write him out, and it is a big blow to the company. But at least it happened after they're at Destination America, and not before. So if you want to see the positive, that's the only positive that I see for TNA Wrestling.
To me, with Joe, I personally can see him going to WWE because Triple H is a big fan of his work. I think that's going to be Joe's next career move.
I'm okay with it. Can he keep the name?
No, they like to redo everything, so no, they're not going to keep that name.
Kenta, Kevin Steen, Pac, and Prince Devitt never got to keep their names, so nor Bryan Danielson.
They'll probably call him the Keg. A reference to a beer keg instead of cigar box, Who knows?
Let's go Daniel Bryan route. What about Jamoa So?
Oh, God.
No one had a comment for that one. I know we're coming up on that 12 o'clock hour, and Matt's on the line. I don't know if you want to start discussing that before we get into Fastlane. John, that's totally up to you.
I might to get the elephant out of the room. And Al, are you excited for any of the moves that your Miami Marlins made? Are you excited?
We're gonna win the World Series, baby! No, the only thing I'm excited is that we have a new commissioner, and we're gonna have the All-Star game here, and I'm hoping to be a part of those festivities in 2017. That's the most excitement we hear on local radio. And then other than that, I mean, there's a little bit of buzz about the training camps and the pitchers and the catchers on Friday, I believe, or is it Thursday, that they're going to be they got to report. But nothing that crazy down here in Miami, to be honest. The news has all been about the All-Star game, that we're finally getting one. And now they're questioning when the NBA All-Star game is going to come, since we've had this beautiful brand new arena down here by Bayside and South Beach. We haven't had one All-Star game. So everyone's starting to question, hey, when the hell are we going to get one?
And at this time, we're going to bring back, finally, after a 2-month absence, Mr. Matt Brees. I guess we've called him the analyst of Main Event Madness. Are you with us, sir?
I certainly am, and thank you for having me back.
Little early morning podcast for Matt, even though he's in the same time zone as me and Al, but given work schedules, it's an early morning podcast for Mr. Matt Brees. So let's just dive right into this, man. What are you looking at? Trying to. No, they're spelled differently, jackass.
I don't care. Look, everyone, it's Smash!
Apparently, you're the Prince Pretty of Main Event Madness, Matt.
The Prince Pretty?
I'll take it.
Oh, Tyler Breeze. Okay.
But who do you think's looking good going into camp? Since pitchers catchers report today.
So you're correcting me there, John?
I tried to when you were talking before.
Thank you. I appreciate you making me look like an ass on air.
No problem. Awesome. Anytime. Hey, if the data connection can do it for everybody, to me, I got to try to do it to you, buddy. Especially since you've been gone for a month.
It's okay.
But Matt, who do you think's looking the best going into camp?
Who's looking the best?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, kind of early to tell. You got a few players out there still. I mean, you always got to look at the Giants out in the West. Honestly, I don't think it's looking good for the AL this year. Because I just don't see anybody that looks like strong contenders. So I think it's going to be another NL heavy year.
What about, I mean, because I'm thinking the Padres, the Cubs, and the Giants could kind of look pretty good. How do you think those teams could shape up going into camp? Do you think they could have a strong year?
Well, I don't think the Cubs will have a great year. They'll be much better than they were last year, and they'll be trouble to some teams, but ultimately I still think they're going to be third or fourth in that division. But that's not exactly the easiest division to play in. So, definitely the Padres are much improved. They will be in the running for the West, as is everybody, seemingly, every year in the West. And again, you always got to keep the Giants on the list, because when you don't, that's when they win.
I don't know. I think the Cubs could, they've added some good pieces this year. They have some younger talent stepping up a little bit. I think they could. I think they could be a dark horse if nothing else this year. What do you think?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I think the Cubs could honestly be a dark horse this year. I know we've talked about that by ourselves, but.
Well, I mean, they easily can. It's just I don't see them all coming together. I don't see everything coming together this year for it to happen. I mean, you can't count them out because you never know. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but I just don't think it's going to come together this year. I think next year they're much more apt to do something. I mean, you got a lot of the pieces in place now, but you just got to get them playing like a team.
All right, Matt. I think John, something's going on with John here, real quick.
All right.
I'm just trying to see. So, I mean, just if you want to take it, I mean, is there any sleepers or anything you could? What should people be on the lookout for this year? I mean, when it comes to maybe a sleeper team out there, whatever the case is. Is there a team that you see that it's a little bit more exciting than the other?
Honestly, I'm looking at Seattle out in the AL West out there. I mean, they played really well last year. They fell a little short, and they only got better in the offseason. So, if I'm looking at anybody, I think it's going to be Seattle out there.
Right,
might be a force to be reckoned with.
Nah, man, and now Seattle, if they have the Seahawks and the Mariners, it's just going to be a big part. It's going to be the next freaking New York-Boston situation and all that. I lived in Seattle, so that'd be kind of cool for those people. They're kind of nuts out there anyways. It's hard for me to kind of discuss, Major League Baseball, but I don't know everything about it. I don't even know what else to ask. Here's something that I found, and it's making the rounds, and we could take, ask you and give me your take on it. Yesterday was actually newsworthy for Major League Baseball when it came out, with A-Rod with his letter of apology, and then at the same time, and I don't remember this guy's name, but out of Miami, he got 4 years for the PEDs and all that. I thought it was kind of funny how on the same day the guy that was giving him the PEDs goes to jail, and then A-Rod decides to sit there and apparently he wrote a I'm sorry letter. What is your take on it? What's your overall feel on that situation with A-Rod?
That's a crazy situation in general. I mean, you got Tony Bosch is the gentleman who got the jail time yesterday. But he's basically taking the fall for A-Rod and everybody that, got busted for these steroids. He's taking the fall for it, and you got A-Rod who's still making millions of dollars a year, and all he's doing is writing a letter of apology that nobody's going to accept anyways, because we're so, anybody, the fan base of baseball is just so far beyond even listening to A-Rod right now.
And I mean, the fact that they were telling A-Rod he could use Yankee Stadium to do a public apology, and all he does is write a half-ass looking note.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think it would have been worse if he went there, if he actually held a press conference.
It would have been worse immediately, but I mean, it worked dividends for Jason Giambi, and it worked for Andy Pettitte.
Well, here's the thing, and I was reading the apology letter, and it makes sense that he has some people with money giving him the right vision here. So his feeling, or his intent was this. Look, I'm not stepping. This is exactly what he's saying. I'm not stepping back into the stadium until I'm wearing the pinstripes again. I don't want to bring any more negative publicity anymore. He's trying to own up to what he's did, and he's saying this is his way of saying, if it's real or if it's fake, that is the intent of what they were doing. So that's the reason why he didn't want to do a press conference or have more negative media there. He didn't want to bring that madness to the facility, which is about time that he had even if it was in his conscience, somebody was finally smart enough to say, hey, you shouldn't do this. Let's do it the right way this time. Go earn your spot back on this team, and they'll walk back into that building until you're an actual player again. And wearing the pinstripes. That's why they did that. And that's exactly. I mean,
spot back too.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they're gonna have to let him earn a spot back too, because they got Chase Headley back on what's he on, a 4-year deal, Matt?
Yeah, I believe so.
It's a 4-year deal. Yeah.
I mean, to me that deal is in case A-Rod doesn't work out, and we got a young third base prospect named Eric Chagailo down in the minors I think is gonna be fantastic once he gets up to the majors. So I think that's what that's waiting for.
Well, honestly, though, like the whole A-Rod letter, I mean, this is, 6 or 7 years way too late? Maybe even a decade too late. I mean, you look at Giambi and Pettitte and all those guys who apologized and then moved on. I mean, even David Ortiz in Boston. Like, all these guys admitted it and just were like, I'm sorry, I did wrong as soon as it happened. So, I mean, for A-Rod to come out now in 2015 and write that letter, it's so far too late that
he should have.
I don't think it matters what he would have wrote.
He should have done that when they announced in 2013 that he was suspended for the rest of the year and all of 2014. That's when he should have done the apology. Just served his time, shut the hell up. The Yankees weren't doing anything that year anyway, and just went along with his business. And I think some people would have took that a little bit better than what they perceive him as now.
Honestly, I don't think it would have mattered, because, I mean, he apologized the first time, you know what I mean? And everybody was like, all right, you didn't fess up right away, but everybody kind of gave him, a half-hearted pass. And then all he does is keep getting caught. So, I mean, at this point, how many A-Rod apologies does it take to actually win the crowd back,
Well, I thought it was kind of funny. I was watching a clip from Fox Sports 1, and they were talking about who's going to be the leader of the Yankees, and they MLB insider John Morosi on there. Do you want me to tell you who he thought should lead the Yankees?
Sure.
A-Rod?
Oy vey.
That was kind of the girl's reaction in the studio when he said that, but he said, and I mean, I guess he's got a point, that A-Rod is good at teaching the game. I just hope he's not teaching them what syringes to use. But, I mean, you and I have talked about this umpteen times, man. I think if anybody should be a leader in this team, I think it should be Brian McCann.
Yeah,
he's got that leadership quality.
I mean, obviously somebody's going to step up. I don't think there's somebody you can pick to step up there. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, there's a lot that would be nice stories if, so-and-so led this team now or, whatever. But I think you just got to wait for it to, manifest itself.
Well, let me ask you point blank. Is this A-Rod's last year?
Is it his last year? I don't think so. I think he's going to hang on way too long. I think he'll probably end up playing another 3 years.
So play out his contract?
Yeah.
Well, did you see that they're trying to take away his home run bonuses?
What was that?
I said, did you see they're trying to take away his home run bonuses? I guess he's like 6 home runs away from 660 or something like that, or some milestone. And he had, in his contract that he signed in 2007, he had enough incentives in it to make it a 10-year, $300 million contract if he broke the home run record, which he isn't going to now. I mean, unless he's going to hit 150 home runs here in the next 3 years. But they're trying to take those bonuses away from him because of the whole controversy.
Oh, I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, they've tried every which way but just outright releasing him to get out of that contract. So
except outright releasing. That's the only thing they haven't tried doing.
What?
I said the only thing they haven't tried doing is straight up outright releasing him, but they don't want to be on the hook if he's not playing.
Right, and that's, and I mean, so I'm not really surprised at anything the Yankees are trying to do to get out of that contract anymore, or try to get out paying as much money. But I kind of agree with them. I mean, but it is what it is at this point.
All right, man, so let's go back a little bit here. And I'm sorry I didn't get to catch what you said about the Yankees and the Red Sox, but I had a couple teams here that I thought could be honest dark horses this year that I think could finally contend, and I just want to get your thoughts on it.
All right.
I got the Angels, the Mets.
I think the Eagles are always contenders out there. I mean, I just don't know if they can get the job done in the postseason. The Angels and the Dodgers are looking a lot alike in the fact that they do well in the regular season, and then you get them into the postseason, and they just crumble.
Well, that was another one, was the Dodgers, and then the Mets.
And the who?
And the Mets.
I think they'll be better than people are expecting this year.
Who, the Mets? Yes.
They're still going to be, probably third in the NL East. I mean, them and the Braves will probably be bringing up the rear in that division, but
I mean, I think the Mets could be better. And no, I'm not saying this to appease Mr. Well, I shouldn't say his name, but a certain friend of ours. But I think with a rotation with Matt Harvey, who should be healthy coming off Tommy John's, and Zach Wheeler, and seemingly ageless Bartolo Colon. Plus, you got Dylan G, who finally seems like he's getting out of his own way and finally starting to pitch a little bit better. So, I mean, if they could all pitch good this year, I mean, I think they could finally have a decent team, which they haven't had in almost 10 years.
Well, they could be, but I mean, I don't know. I can't say I can't see it happening. It's just it's the Mets. I mean, they at some level they seem to be almost cursed that they just can't put it together.
Yeah. And speaking of not being able to put it together, let's shift gears here a little bit. And Matt, we're going to talk a little bit about Fastlane here. Do you want to stick around for it?
Yeah, I'll stick around for a little while longer. I got 10 or 15 I can hang around with.
Good stuff, good stuff. So, Al, if there's one card which I could run down the card for those of you who don't know, and is there one match, well, for both you guys, that you guys are looking forward to more than the other one? And no, go ahead.
I want to see them all. No, I'm playing. Well, there's a little bit of a spoiler here. Stardust and Goldust are wrestling at Fastlane, which announced during the tapings last night of Smith. That match intrigues me because I think they're both great wrestlers. Goldust, for some reason, after he stopped doing the drugs and got that on that DDP yoga, looks like he's 25 years old again, and he's out there. I'm intrigued by seeing them wrestle in a match first. For some reason, I want to see that. But realistically, I mean, of all the matches that are listed up until this point, obviously the one that intrigues me the most would be that Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. Mm-hmm. More so to see that end result and see what happens with that match. As a pure, that might be my second match that I want to see, but I really want to see Dean Ambrose versus Bad News Barrett tear down the house. I hope they give him time for that Intercontinental Championship match. The build has been pretty good, pretty interesting, and it's new and refreshing. And I want to see that match more than all the ones on the card, to be quite honest with you.
First off, before I get to Matt's opinion, I just got one thing to say about Stardust and Goldust. Damn! It's honestly like that this company forgot that WrestleMania is next.
And that's what goes back to what I said earlier on the show, where this pay-per-view between Royal Rumble and Mania should never happen. And people, I just don't understand why it's there. It's like a thorn in the writer's ass.
Matt, is there one match over another that you're looking to specifically?
Am I? Well, you know that I'm looking forward to Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan.
Uh-huh.
And
it's your boy.
I'm more interested to see what or how long they give Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns out there. I mean, I think they're going to try to use this match as a proving ground for him. And I mean, you either sink or swim, but the other one I'm really looking forward to, just out of sheer curiosity, is Rusev and Cena. I mean, it's been so long, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, but that I'm actually looking forward to a Cena match, because I think the last one was Punk at Money in the Bank, but it's been so long since Cena's gone for a title that hasn't been the World Heavyweight or the WWE title. And I'm just so curious to see where they go with that.
I'll tell you what, man, I'm kind of scared. And like I don't want him to beat Rusev. That's kind of like what's bothering me. I want Rusev to kick his ass, you know. And it's hard for me to think that John Cena cannot beat Rusev. Just because John Cena is what I call him God Cena, and he beats everybody, you know? And I just find it weird that if they book him not to beat him, and then if John Cena does beat Rusev, imagine him on Monday Night Raw with the United States Championship belt.
Can he have the
What, they're restarting his career and we're going to be stuck with Cena for another 10 years? Jesus Christ.
Honestly,
the fall, it's going to be called The Fall and Rise of John Cena. I mean, the uprising, fall, and the rise again. I don't even know. I hope that's not what they're planning on.
John Cena.
We couldn't find the future, so we're giving you the past now as the future now. I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy.
Well, I mean, if you look at...
I'm not sure what they're doing there, but I mean, I can almost guarantee that that's not going to be a clean finish on Sunday. I mean, you know, I think it's going to end up in a disqualification, and we'll get the real match at WrestleMania. But it's very hard to imagine that going either way.
It is one of those matches. Now that you brought it up, it is kind of intriguing me a little bit more and more to see what happens with that. Now I really want to see what happens, and I agree with you. It's got to probably be a botched finish. One of them is going to get upset and use a weapon or a monitor or something.
I mean, the biggest thing for me is that we could possibly have a pay-per-view with 3 shady finishes on it.
It's happened before. I mean,
the main event and then the 2 mid-card title matches could all have shady finishes through them. I mean, it's kind of looking like it could be a TNA pay-per-view where every match is getting some kind of crappy finish, just like Nikki and Paige is rumored to be the WrestleMania Diva match as well. So it's looking like Matt said it best last night. We're looking like we're going to see a WrestleMania chock full of rematches.
But if it's done correctly, I mean, those are all good matches on paper. So I mean, as long as the finishes aren't so cheap that it pulls, it's jarring and it pulls you out, I think it'll still be good stories leading up into WrestleMania.
Well, now let me ask you this. So we're talking about all these damn matches and stuff at Fastlane, but we haven't mentioned this. I mean, Sting and Triple H, is this something you guys are excited to see, or are you not happy with the build? I mean, what are your thoughts, Matt? I'm very curious to see what you guys think about this.
Personally, I like the fact that they're going to do this. I'm curious to see how they bring it about and what all the stipulations are going to turn out to be, but I mean, I think I was on the first time I was on here. I said I wanted to see Sting and Triple H, so I mean, they could do a little more. I feel like Sting could have more appearances. Help out a little bit, but they might be waiting till the lead to WrestleMania to do that. So, I mean, we still got a few weeks. Obviously a month or so to go.
Yeah, I must say I'm a little bit, I'm happy for you guys, but I wish I could go with you guys. I'm not going to say I'm jealous, but I'm happy you guys are going to be able to see Sting in a WWE ring at WrestleMania, you lucky bastards.
With our fantastic
Sorry, I had to say it. All right, go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say, with our fantastic seats of that, I mean, we have almost the same exact seats for WrestleMania, Raw, and the Hall of Fame. Not to brag or anything.
You guys might see Kevin Nash inducted. He already canceled Shenanigans. For him to cancel that on the same, he's probably going to be inducted. So that means you'll probably see Scott Hall there and all that. You guys are in for a treat, man. You guys are going to have a lot of fun.
Well, I just found out some interesting news here, guys. I don't mean to take away from the topic at hand, but everybody's favorite Reddit user strikes again.
Matt's whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
So what does he say now?
WWE is reportedly showing interest in an NXT run for Samoa Joe. Specifically, Triple H is the one showing interest in Samoa Joe, as Vince McMahon doesn't seem like he likes the idea, but Triple H is going to try to push for a tryout run with Samoa Joe.
I could have wrote that out of my ass too.
But it's also worth noting that Paul Heyman retweeted Samoa Joe leaving TNA and just said on there, So, I don't know. That's just a fantastic idea right there, Samoa Joe and Paul Heyman.
Well, Samoa Joe doesn't need Paul Heyman, but
neither did CM Punk, and they were fantastic.
Yeah, no, I'm saying we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I get scared when they try to bring these guys and how they use them. Because in NXT, it's a different monster compared to the main roster, and
at least we get to look forward to what it will be like when Triple H takes over.
Which I wish it was done now. But, yeah, all right. So, Samoa Joe, they're teasing it. It should be interesting to see what happens.
Hey, Matt, maybe he shows up the night after WrestleMania.
What was that?
I said maybe Samoa Joe shows up the night after WrestleMania.
Oh.
Al's hating us right now.
No, I still can't believe that I didn't go to My Mania in Miami. I will end up at a WrestleMania either next year or the following. I would love to go next year because of the implications of Dallas and all that.
Just have the money by the end of the summer, buddy. Me and Matt are already planning on going, right, sir?
Absolutely.
That's going to be an awesome deal. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people at that Cowboy Stadium.
Definitely got to do the packages, though, if we do it again this time.
And I wanted to bring something up. We're talking about Mania and all that. The last few Manias, there's been a lot of... I feel like there's something missing this Mania. I know we got Sting, but Sting is not quite like, The Rock and stuff like that. I feel like we're missing that one celebrity, one guy. I mean, we have Brock Lesnar, but he's been around for a while. It feels like there's that one person missing. Do you guys feel the same way? I know it's Sting. I know we got Sting. But it seems like there's like that one celebrity, they always bring somebody in crazy. What do you guys think?
I actually think it's kind of refreshing change of pace. I mean, because we've had some kind of celebrity, involvement in WrestleMania since what, like?
Forever. It seems like, right?
23, I think, was the last one we haven't had a big celebrity involved.
And if it's not a celebrity, we also have like Hulk Hogan hosting Mania. I feel like there's something there missing. Like they're gonna surprise us with something else, Hopefully,
I don't know. Personally, I was gonna say I'd rather see him just focus on the guys that are currently in the ring. Like, not that I don't love The Rock. I mean, John knows that I'm one of the biggest fans of The Rock.
Same, I'm the biggest fan of The Rock.
I mean, it's just the fact that. It's nice to see the young guys get the focus here.
And that's what I was, when I was thinking about this, I had thought about it last week and I wanted to bring it up on the show. I felt the same way. I'm like, man, maybe this is what's going on. This is the first real year that they know about 70% of the people, or at least domestically, are already locked in with the WWE Network. Maybe they don't feel the need to bring in that other presence in. They already got Sting. Maybe they want to focus for the first time more on wrestling, and they know they're going to make their money because they have the subscriptions already. So maybe this is the first year in a long time that they're actually focusing on the matches, and they don't need to bring in a guy or a Mickey Rourke for that matter, or Floyd Money Mayweather or Donald Trump to sell tickets, or sell the pay-per-view. So I feel like it's refreshing too, and I don't mind not having that aspect. If they're only bringing Sting, hell yeah, I'll take that.
In all fairness, how many tickets did Mickey Rourke really sell, though?
I agree. I mean, it was just it's not the selling of the tickets. I think it does bring attention to their company because it goes on all these the TMZ channels and all this crap picks it up. So it helps in their the publicity standpoint. Not selling the tickets per se, but it brings attention to their company. And I think that's where I say it's lacking. I know there's going to be a performance. Somebody's going to be performing live. That always happens. At least 2 performances or something like that.
David Guetta and Sia. I think they're doing the theme song this year.
Who's?
David Guetta and Sia are doing the theme song.
Oh, you see that? I mean, other than that, I agree. If they can tone it down on having some dumbass celebrity show up, I think you guys it'll be a better experience overall.
I was just looking at this, talking about the youth in Fusion, I guess you could say, in WrestleMania. If we get the card that's either rumored or that we think we have, it would be Brock, Bryan Reigns, Cena, Rusev, Rollins, Orton, Ambrose, Barrett, Usos, Ascension, Paige, Nikki, Sting, Triple H. 9. There's only over half of those talents debuted within the last 5 years. Only ones, there's only Cena, Orton, Brock, and Nikki Bella, at least that I'm looking at, that debuted in the last decade. So, I don't know. I think that's a nice fact right there that, we're getting all guys, and they're all NXT talent. It's showing that Triple H is doing something, and it's just, like I said, a nice, refreshing change of pace that we're not getting old part-timers. We're not getting, any of the celebrity BS in there.
And also, it's an essentially new. Brock Lesnar's reinvented. Sting's an old-timer, but it's new. Triple H hasn't wrestled in a long time. So when you see him, now it kind of means something. And so it is the different feeling than we had, 5 years ago? It is a totally different energy, and I agree that's pretty badass that they're getting younger.
Cena's kind of seeming like he's reinventing himself a little bit with a different character. Orton's been gone so long that he feels that he's going to feel fresh to everybody. Triple H has reinvented himself a little bit with this authority gimmick. Sting's reinvented by proxy of just being in WWE. Because of the 75,000 of us that are going to be in WrestleMania, 25, 30, 40,000 of them will have no idea that he wrestled in TNA?
That's crazy to me. That blows my mind. And I love it because on Monday Night Raw, Triple H said, Sting just disappeared. Sting must be in the background like, son of a bitch. I tried to be your main competitor. It didn't work again. So he failed twice at beating the WWE. And he's been busting his ass for 14 years at TNA or whatever the case was. So Sting must be like, you son of a bitch. And speaking of Triple H and Sting saga, did you guys see the Ric Flair segment on Monday Night Raw?
I did. I do not believe Matt did.
Yeah, I have actually not watched Raw to this point.
Okay, I felt that it was a pretty horrendous segment with Flair, John.
I thought it was pretty good. It was a different dynamic of Triple H and Ric Flair. It kind of reminded me of Ric Flair talking to Randy Orton a little bit. But what saved it for me was, and you guys talked about it yesterday, Matt. Was Triple H shoving Flair and nobody's going to take this away from me. Nothing.
Okay, I agree. Everything up into that point was horrible because Ric Flair forgot his lines.
I don't think any.
And Triple H was guiding him to say, it was just bad, man. Triple H was like, I know why you're here, because Ric Flair wasn't saying it. You're here to tell me about your days in WCW. Instead of having Ric Flair say it. Ric Flair was just off his game. It looked like he had a couple drinks that night. I don't know.
See, I'm a Triple H mark, so I don't really mind too much of what he's doing, except some of the horrible finishes that we had last year. But I don't know. I'm just excited to see where they go with this Triple H Sting build. Whether or not they now and then, which I almost think they'd have to, given that they've kind of been building up to what they should have done for WrestleMania for Fastlane. But
you said, I'm hoping that the confrontation at Fastlane just builds without an actual physical altercation, meaning that it's going to get intense real fast, and it's going to leave the people wanting to see this match, and I think that's what they want. They don't want to have to hit each other.
No, I'm not.
Kind of like when they build the Shield and the Wyatt family. That I will never forget that moment that they were on either side of the ring. You were like, "Holy shit! I want to see this as a goosebumps moment." I think it's going to be kind of like that. That's what I'm looking forward to. And then hopefully a match. Obviously at Mania.
Getting in a physical altercation. I just meant building up to WrestleMania. Okay. But that's another one that I forgot to put on there, and that's another one that debuted only 2.5 years ago. 1.5. No, a year and a half ago, right? Yeah. And that's Bray Wyatt, and already he's in a prominent match against The Undertaker, so. On paper, then you're going to have the BS multi-man match, but on paper, that's a pretty solid card. But
that should be a pretty decent WrestleMania. All right.
I think Mr. Brees is going to be departing.
Yeah, I got to get going.
All right, thanks, Matt. I appreciate you being on the show and helping out and all that. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me on, guys.
No problem, man. Hope to have you back on here soon.
Yep.
See ya. All right, Al. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just realized the time, and I didn't want to keep him up much longer.
He said 15 minutes. We dragged him for like 30.
But what were you going? You were saying something. I don't.
No, I just wanted to move on. I know we got a short time here. I kind of wanted to talk about we have the rundown coming up here and all that.
Which we could get right into that now if you'd want to.
All right, let's jump into it. All right, so the rundown, it's this is our first time doing this, am I correct?
Yes, sir. It's something I've mentioned to you. You were iffy on, and I figured, what the hell? We haven't been on in like 4 or 5 weeks. So what the hell? Let's try it.
All right, so the rundown, 10 minutes, 5 topics, and our thoughts, and we're going to just talk about a few different topics on different subjects, including Ric Flair, TNA, Wrestle One, Eddie Edwards, and a few other topics here. So let's get started here. Ric Flair announced some, it hasn't been officially announced yet, but it's pretty much confirmed. They're going to make a press release within the next week or so. Mr. I Can't Talk Anymore, Ric Flair, has signed a new deal with CBS Sports to do a weekly podcast. Is this good or bad? Or is it good, bad, and the ugly?
It's going to be hilariously ugly. That's what it's going to be. We're going to get so many drunken stupors from Ric Flair on this podcast, it's not even going to be funny.
It's going to be, actually, it's going to be so bad that's going to be good. I think. Unless he sits there and just talks normal, and he's not trying to bring that energy like he did back in the day, or he talked on Monday Night Raw, where you can't understand where he's going with stuff. I don't know. I'm intrigued to hear Ric Flair on a podcast. I hope he knows how to, put the headset on and press play. I'm sure he's gonna have people there helping him. Poor bastard. But hopefully it works out for him. You always want to have the best. When people start a new endeavor, I know we hope that people wish us well wishes, We just want to see if Ric Flair can pull it off. What about you?
Like I said, I hope we're not treated to any drunken stupors from Flair, but yeah, I mean, I think it'll be entertaining. TNA and Wrestle One appear to have a new relationship or partnership going forward. I don't know if this is going to be like a talent exchange kind of thing going on. You know, they, like you mentioned earlier, they kind of had or you mentioned in the report, I'm sorry, that Wrestle One and TNA collaborated for Bound for Glory. Al, how do you feel about us having a TNA and Wrestle One collaboration going forward?
Look, I thought the last one was kind of weird because just TNA was in a rough spot. Their TV contract was ending. People were leaving, and everything was a damn mess towards the end of the year. Bound for Glory wasn't even a TNA pay-per-view. That's supposed to be their WrestleMania, and it was a hot mess for them, and it didn't come off how they wanted, I don't think. Wrestle One has some amazing talent. TNA has some great talent too. I would not. My problem is that it's hard to do that and make your company. WCW was able to do it on different aspects, and even WWE. But you want to build your own brand, and I understand that it might bring some more notoriety to your name, but you know, you want to build your brand. You don't want to say this is TNA Wrestling with Wrestle One. That's one of those things that I do not like. And that's just me looking way past into this. As a fan, I think it'd be good for business because you're going to see some great wrestling between both companies. And it'll probably be good for Wrestle One business-wise, having TNA talent go over there and wrestle for them and vice versa. I do not want to see Wrestle One produce another TNA pay-per-view. No. No, negative. You want to go to Japan and they help you out with hey, this is the venue you got to be at. I don't want to see Wrestle One signs everywhere, one little small TNA banner, and you calling this a TNA pay-per-view. No. That's not good for business.
What else may not be good for business is that Eddie Edwards was injured during a pay-per-view taping. How does this affect his tag team with the Wolves in the TNA tag division going forward? Do you think it's a serious injury or?
Injured, but everything worked out fine because of the tapings that were done so in advance that the person, whoever it was that got injured the first time, was able to heal by the next tapings. You know, it's TNA, so a random guy leaving, it's not out of the norm for them. So one thing is, you know, everyone always bashes TNA that it's always changing and there's face turns and heel turns. You got to give it to TNA for always adapting to the roster because they seem to have a different roster each and every week. If you don't believe me, just go to the TNA spoilers section on WrestlingNewsReport.com or even Wrestling-News.net and look at some of these one-night stand pay-per-views. I mean, there's Drew Galloway, there's Sanjay Dutt return. There's people there that you're like, oh, okay, good to know. You're back. You know, it's just funny how it constantly changes with the roster. So the Wolves are an awesome tag team. And it sucks that he's injured. I don't know how long he's going to be out, and hopefully we can get an update for you guys soon. How does it affect TNA tag division? I mean, they're one of the top dogs. You know, Jeff Hardy's out with a quote-unquote injury just because he couldn't go to the United Kingdom. So he's off of TV for a few weeks. So it is going to affect a little bit of their tapings and whatnot, and we'll see what happens.
That's right. They got all the UK tapings going now.
Excuse me. I'm sorry?
I said that's right. They got all the UK tapings going right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of coming back, I love how all of these are setting up horrible segues for me. Rob Van Dam in WWE. A fan was asking RVD on Twitter within the last few days about him coming back, and he's been noted lately of making public comments about how bad his last run was and about the creative. Do you think we'll see RVD back in the WWE ring?
It's wrestling, so you can say never, say never is never, whatever the case is. But I'm sure maybe not soon. I'm sure he pissed off a couple of people in the back. But who's to blame him? I mean, a guy like Chris Jericho comes back, and they have a storyline for him, and he puts people over. RVD has that notoriety. He has a cult-like following. Like, he's kind of like I can't even put him Randy Orton. When he comes out, there's a pop. It's freaking RVD. For some reason, people, flock to him, and they receive him well. RVD can do so much more than just come out and wrestle a bunch of single matches for superstars or whatever the hell he's doing. Every time he comes back, it's like he'll wrestle in a tag team match. Out of nowhere, they'll put him in the Elimination Chambers match because he was a former champion. We all know he's not going to win, but they stick him in there anyways. It just, I cannot fault the guy. At least he say it. Now, does that affect his future with the company? It doesn't put him in a great position right now. Especially if it gets back to the higher ups, which I'm sure it does. It's everything's the now, and everyone reads everything. So, will we ever see him again? I can't say no. Will we see him anytime soon? I'll say no. We can't. I don't think we'll see him anytime soon. There's no way we'll see him anytime back in the WWE ring. In the future, yeah, but right now, I just don't see it.
And one last one. Batista has signed on for a new movie. I apologize. I did not see which movie he was signing up for.
Highlander.
Okay. See, I knew you'd have my back.
Kurgan or whatever the guy. Yeah. Kurgan or whatever the guy's name is from the movie Highlanders, or whatever the hell Highlander is. I'm sure there's people probably, I can't believe you said that. So go back to you were saying he signs a new movie role.
Is his WWE?
And the question is,
is his, in your opinion, is his WWE career over?
When did it ever really start? No. I'm sorry, I'm just not a Batista fan.
He's got Highlander, and then he's got Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He was doing some James Bond movie, which he's going to have to do major promotion for. So, I mean, his contract's through WrestleMania next year, I believe.
I could see him wrestling a match again. I could see him come back on a Chris Jericho role, or come back for a 3-month period and doing something like that, or even more there, like of The Rock, come back and come and go. But maybe not so, because I know The Rock does still have a passion for the wrestling business, and he's grounded. I don't know if Batista's the same way. I think Batista's going to say, well, should I bust my ass and go wrestle a match, or should I go film a movie?
Should I go?
I got these millions of.
Should I take a slam?
What were you gonna say?
Should I take a slam onto almost like a mattress kind of thing, or should I take a slam off the top rope onto a ring canvas? Decisions.
Exactly. I mean, will we see him back in the WWE ring? Yes, but will he have an extended stretch of? I think his last run was his longest run. That's the longest run he'll ever have again, if that makes sense. So I don't see him having a real long run ever again. He'll probably come back and do a couple things. Him and WWE obviously are still connected and intertwined because WWE keeps on posting his stuff on the website. So they still have a working relationship, and he probably still has dates on his contract. Who knows? Or he has a new they have a connection. So yeah, they have some sort of connection because they wouldn't be hyping his movie. So is his career completely over? No. But is it ever going to be what it was towards his last run? No, it'll never be that. But he'll be back in some sort of way. Hopefully he's not to do commentary.
Yeah, I'd rather not see that. Let's see here.
Oh, and you know what this guy... Wait, before we go on, I just figured it out.
Huh.
Roman Reigns is this generation's Batista. accurate.
Don't wish that on him.
Roman Reigns is this generation's Batista.
Don't wish that on him.
He looks apart. He has the body. He just can't talk on the microphone.
Don't wish that on him. He'll be hurt like every other week. Poor Reigns. But
just don't tell Matt I said that.
I don't know how Matt feels about Batista, so that may or may not be a good thing. But
oh good.
So we had let's see, we got about 10 minutes here left. Which one would you rather cover? We got two bigger topics left.
Talk a little bit of trying to see NXT. NXT sounds like a good little topic. Look, we're going to talk about the Twitter hacks. I mean,
we can save that for next week.
We could go on a speculation. Yeah, it's TNA's fault. We'll just say it that way. Who knows? So let's not even talk about that. NXT had a hell of a pay-per-view event, if you want to call it, whatever, rival. Say it again?
I said a Haluva show.
Hell of a show. Hell of a. All right, so down the card, man, I still cannot, and a lot of you guys have seen the pay-per-view. I don't want to sit here and tell you everything that happened, but, Blake and Murphy defeated the Lucha Dragons, Tommy defeated Bree, Sasha Banks defeated, she's the new champion, Finn Balor had a hell of a match with Adrian, and Kevin Owens beat the hell out of Sami Zayn.
Where did Blake and Murphy even come from? Because it was like the first
from some hole that Triple H dug up and found, apparently.
I mean, like, they came out of nowhere. Like, they had one set of NXT tapings. Bam, new NXT Tag Team Champions. Like,
no, well, you know what? They've been around for a long time, but they're now getting notoriety. They're actually veterans, and they have a lot of experience. Oh, really? I don't know all their backstory, but they've been around for a while. The NXT Rival was one of the better shows I've seen, and I've put this on Twitter, on Almy Madness, and on Facebook. I just don't understand how WWE, NXT, I don't understand how NXT, SmackDown, Raw, Superstars, all these people are under the same umbrella. You guys keep on telling me that Triple H runs a show in NXT, but it doesn't make sense to me how bad Raw is compared to NXT, or how bad booking is compared to from SmackDown to NXT and Raw to NXT. I just don't get it. It blows my freaking mind.
It just shows you how
I don't understand it. I hate it. And then what?
It just shows
you how what?
I said it just shows you how out of touch Vince McMahon is, and how out of touch freaking Kevin Dunn lets Vince McMahon be. Which that moron, I hope to God, gets fired by Triple H when Triple H takes over, because there's so many better people that could do that job better than Kevin Dunn is. Just because he doesn't like Brits, or he doesn't like foreign people. So he's not going to push Barrett, or he's not going to push Drew McIntyre when he was there, or he's not going to push Paige.
I just, I don't get it. And you know what's sad? And I said I wanted to mention it on this show, is the fact that I don't even care about the WWE main roster. They're saying there's a disconnect between NXT and the main roster. Rest some more. You guys, everybody on the main roster could shut the hell up, because you guys are all making the money. So it's just sit there, and if they tell you to eat dog shit or dog food in the middle of the ring, go ahead, because you're going to cash a big paycheck. What I feel bad for is the NXT people busting their ass, and they're getting exploited by the WWE, and they're not making money. And now they're telling them you got to go on the road. I hope to God that the WWE is paying for these road trips to Ohio, and NXT is touring, and I hope they're paying for some damn food. I hope they're taking care of their own, because these guys, I understand that not everybody in the NXT is going to go to the main roster, because that's impossible. There's only so many roster spots. Maybe some people will not make it, and that's the truth. Most of these people are. I mean, they should be compensated a little bit better than what they are. They're making. I've heard cases of $19,000 a year, 20, and if you're Kevin Owens, upwards to 30 to 40,000, which is at least livable. But we have guys like I'm sure Blake and Murphy are on the lower end of that caliber, making not that much money, you know. So that's just frustrating to hear those reports, you know.
I could sympathize, but I'd imagine they're taking care of them for that. But you know, I just honestly, like, I'm repeating myself here, but if NXT is showing us what Triple H can do running a product, good Lord, just let the guy take over already. I mean, what did Vince McMahon say time and time again? Nobody's bigger than the WWE. Well, get your ass out of the way. Obviously, Sonny-in-law boy over there can, you know, at least handle something decent.
Here's the problem, and what the reports are starting to indicate more and more now than ever. The ideology is different between Triple H and Vince McMahon. Obviously, it's a distance in age, it's a distance in where they grew up. There's a distance where Triple H was a wrestler and he became an executive and he learned how to book shows, but he was a wrestler. Vince McMahon has never really truly been a wrestler. He never really truly lived that lifestyle. He was on the road, but never as a wrestler. There's a huge difference there. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of those disconnects that Triple H understands the booking aspect and understands that you need to be entertaining to get people into the arena, but he also understands you need to wrestle as well. The problem is that Vince McMahon is 90% entertaining, 10% wrestling. You know, and I think that Triple H understands that there can be a balance.
I think Triple H is kind of trying to do it like 60% wrestling, 40% entertainment.
I think that'd be that's a good mix.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a very good mix. Yeah, like, I mean, it's like any other show. Yes, there has to be some sort of entertainment value. There has to be something there, because you want these shows. You know, they called them for the longest time. They're like variety shows, and in most regards they are. But I mean, what's the focal point of everything that goes on? Wrestling. And it's like, I put on a tweet yesterday, it's like Vince McMahon is trying to educate the current crop of wrestling fans, the younger ones coming up here that are discovering more and more of the WWE, that he's trying to educate them to hate wrestling. Because all we're getting are 2-minute squash matches, 3-minute squash matches. You know, I could sympathize for the main roster why they're pissed off, because they're getting 2, 3, 4-minute squash matches versus 15-minute matches in NXT that are blowing away anything that the main roster does, whether you're John Cena straight down to, I don't know, Santino Marella, Hornswoggle.
And here's another thing, you know, with wrestling, it's always about taking risk, and Vince McMahon doesn't have the competition. One thing that annoys me about Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, that they start off the same way each and every week. There's a 10-minute monologue that kicks off the show. Why can't we just have one night that they start off wrestling? There's a wrestling match. All right, to start off the night tonight, it's going to be this guy. I know it sounds stupid, but it's just, I'm saying, you could do things a little bit different to throw your fans off a little bit. And I don't know, I just think that little things like that makes a difference, you know?
I mean, they have the occasional week where there's an opening match.
Yeah, but there's always a monologue before that opening match. They're not just going to start a match. They're not going to ring the bell and say, all right, here comes out, blah, blah, blah. I mean, what was it? I think the last one was Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt in the cage match, when it was Monday Night Raw going head-to-head with Monday Night Football or something like that. Do you remember that? That was the opening match, I think. Or it was going on the second hour. I don't even know. I don't remember, but...
I mean, they just need to shake things up, bottom line. I don't mean to take Vince's line from him and use it, but, I mean, they need to. Because it's been the same stagnant formula for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years that he's tried to use, and it's backfiring. That to me, is the biggest thing. But
I agree. Who knows when he's going to decide to retire? Ever happen?
Hopefully,
I think he'll be booking wrestling shows 6 feet underground.
In his mind, he will be. I mean, look at the crop of talent when he's 6 feet under that he's going to have to work with up there. Eddie Guerrero, Andre the Giant, Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, Big Boss Man, among many others.
He's got Tess, Umaga, Sean O'Hara.
He who shall not be named.
Mr. Here's my one. Oh, he's got one hell of a a character to go by. I think he's going to be the most feared wrestler down there.
Chris Benoit.
All right, guys. I think with that, we're going to end the show on Chris Benoit.
Look at that. Chris Benoit killed the WWE's product back in 2007, and mentioning him has just killed the show.
All right, guys. It's been a joy to be back. I know we had some stupid technical difficulties at the start. Hopefully we'll be back stronger than ever. We're going to have interviews. We have a lot of people to get back to when it comes to terms of interviews, so stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed this show, we had a lot of interviews in the past, including TNA's Gunner, TNA's Tyrus. That was most recently. We had Bruno Sammartino, DDP in the past. Go check it out on WrestlingNewsReport.com. MainEventMadness.com was hacked, and we are fixing it. So all our archives right now on Wrestling News or on Spreaker.com, right? Most of them are there.
/show/Main Event Madness. I wish there was a way to consolidate that, but there isn't. I do believe most of our shows, at least for Main Event Madness and Wrestling 365, I don't know about Wrestling 365, but at least Main Event Madness is on iTunes. A good chunk of our shows are from Main Event Madness are on YouTube. They're on iHeartRadio. They're on Stitcher. They're on TuneIn Radio. You guys need to go check them out. You guys are going to be thoroughly entertained, or just keep listening to this one. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell whoever. Get the word out there. Tell them they're going to want to check out the fastest rising podcast on the internet today, Main Event Madness. We are out of here. We are done. We'll be back here next Wednesday. I have no idea what time. When I do, follow us on Twitter at AlMeMadness, at John MEM Radio. You guys will be able to tell or find out. And, of course, Facebook.com/Main Event Madness. We are out of here. We're done for the week. Don't forget to check out Wrestling's Rope Break tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern. Spreaker.com/show/Wrestling Rope Break. I'm sorry. You guys are going to want to check them out. Joel and Aaron are doing a kick-ass job over there. Bye-bye, everybody. We will see you back here next week. Enjoy Fastlane. Enjoy Raw. Let's hope we have a kick-ass show to talk about next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining us. Miss a part or all of today's show? No problem. Head over to MainEventMadness.com where you'll find today's show as well as every show in our history. So once again, for all of us here at Main Event Madness, I'm John Curry. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back here next time. Have a good one, everybody. So long.